Victor Teo. He is a researcher of international relations of East Asia and associate professor at the University of Hong Kong, and he joins us now from Hong Kong. Victor, good to have you on the program. Before we speak to you, I want you to listen to this, because a short while ago we spoke to the democracy activist Joshua Wong, and this is what he had to say.
In the previous day, we always say that Hong Kong is under threat, but now it's already what happened. We hope to continue fight for freedom and democracy, and hope one day Hong Kong people can elect our government. But right now, what we're experiencing is they just hope to turn Hong Kong to be the next Xinjiang or Tibet under the hardline crackdown from Beijing. But I think in the upcoming few weeks, we will try our best, mobilize as many people as we can, and also seek for more allies around the world to stand with Hong Kong.
Victor, the next Xinjiang, what do you make of that?
I think there's a bit of an over exaggeration here on Joshua's part. I'm not sure whether he's been to Xinjiang. I think not. But having said that, I don't think that it's the end of the world for Hong Kong. I believe that I'm slightly troubled by how this has developed, notably because Beijing has actually given little warning. However, I have to say that I'm not surprised that this happened. Well, for a couple of reasons. Number one, under the Basic Law, which is Hong Kong's mini constitution, foreign affairs and national security is actually falls under the central government's purview. So for the central government to actually try and persuade the Hong Kong government and Hong Kong people to enact this bill for a while. The central government has been trying to enact this bill through the Hong Kong government for a while now, and it hasn't been successful. And actually, the central government has a right to carry on to pass this bill at the MPC. So this is within legal means. Second, the Democrats have actually given up a really good opportunity. They could have tried to work with the Hong Kong, the pro-government legislator, and towards in addressing this legislation, and then they could have actually have a voice to prescribe what can be written and what cannot be written. But you know, the time for that is over. And right now, like Patrick in Beijing has said, there's a little bit of a timeline. So I think that contextualized against the U.S. China tensions and what's been going on,
Exactly.
I think, I think Beijing is going to, single-handedly push through this bill, which is a bit concerning for me, because the Hong Kong people actually doesn't get to see what's actually being written inside the bill.
So just to be clear, to recap, you think that China will single-handedly push through this Hong Kong bill?
I think they have the right to, and I think they could. So yeah, it could be just written and inserted into the Basic Law for Hong Kong to be implemented.
That would be huge. What would happen to Hong Kong then?
Well, I don't think it's the end of the one country, two system, because Beijing, as far as I can tell, is pretty committed to keeping the Hong Kong's the one country, two system in place. I think what the Chinese government or the central government is worried about is the way things have been developing, because from Beijing's perspective, it's actually becoming two countries and two systems. So they are trying to write in a bill that would preserve Hong Kong's autonomy by saying that there are certain things that Hong Kong political opposition cannot do. I think this really addresses their concerns about what the other countries might be doing in Hong Kong, and using Hong Kong as if you like, a place where they launch anti-Chinese activities. That is the central government's concern. But it remains to be seen if, after the passage of this bill, the Hong Kong people still can say what they like and they can still go and protest on the 1st of July, then I don't think it's the end of the one country, two system principles like what many people are saying today. Secondly, there's actually a benefit that comes out of this thing, and that is it alleviates the burden on the Hong Kong government. The Hong Kong government can actually go back to the business of governing without having to struggle with the political opposition on this piece of bill. And so far, I think the Hong Kong government has had a lot of trouble with the political opposition on this. So it takes this issue off the hands. And Hong Kong coming out of COVID-19 pandemic is in a precarious position. If this bill passes and it could actually tone down the kind of anti-government riots, I would say, and the violence that we've been seeing last summer, it might actually be doing Hong Kong a big it might be giving Hong Kong a big boost, because Hong Kong really need to refocus and get its act together economically.
We'll have to leave it there. Victor Teo from the University of Hong Kong, we really appreciate your analysis. Thank you.